Yo, 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 good people. It's your homie HerbMan coming back at you with another hot banger boogie. Hey, look, go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. And if you are new to our platform, welcome. Go ahead and hit that logo right at the bottom of your screen right there and hit that notification bell so that you never miss what we bring to the platform. So we are being hit in the Black American community with a lot of tragic news day in and day out, whether it's us killing ourselves or we having someone else kill us, or we are being knocked off due to diseases and things of that nature. And a lot of these things, most of these things are avoidable. And so I want to come to you today to plead for your ear and your heart to allow us to understand what is going on in our particular community and in our society and in our culture as a whole. We are under attack. We are being declared war upon, and we don't know that we're in a war, that we're in a fight for our lives. And it's not just about the violence and the hate and the anger that we all hold toward one another or certain things or certain circumstances, but it's also about the environment that we bring ourselves up in, and how that engineers our understanding and our mentality and our thought processes on everything. And so what I want to do is allow you to understand that we are being targeted. We're being targeted with bad programming. They're marketing to our brains day in and day out to eat the wrong things, to drink the wrong things, to listen to the wrong things, to do the wrong things, to live in the wrong way. We are being constantly marketed for our own demise. And we need to understand the programming that we are being developed under and in. And we got to understand what it's doing to our bodies. Now, we all know that even though we're only about 40 to 50 million people here in the United States, we are dying in more proportions, higher proportions than any other of our counterparts here in the same United States of America. We have more obesity rates. Our women are some of the most obese in the United States of America, in the Black American community. We're dying disproportionately from heart diseases, now from cancers, and from strokes, and from diabetes. And we need to understand that it's all due to the stress on our lives and the chemicals and the pesticides and the foods. So I want to paint a picture to you real quick of what's going on when it comes to the injustice on our plates, the injustice that is happening in our kitchens, the injustice that is happening on our in our break rooms around America, the injustices that are happening in the fast food restaurants, the injustices that are happening in the commercials, the injustices that are happening on the food labels. This is what I want to talk about. And because of these injustices, they're affecting the nervous system, which is the brain. They're affecting your circulatory system, which is your heart. They are affecting your respiratory system, which is your lungs. They are affecting your glandular system, which is your endocrine system. They are ultimately affecting your digestive system. And just affecting those 5 things break down everything else. So why are we dying more rapidly from these issues than any other body of people on the continent of America? Why? Because our bodies do not agree with the foods, nor does it agree with the stresses of this particular society and this culture. And if you eat the wrong foods, and if you're under a certain amount of stress all the time, it will affect that thing that I've been preaching to you guys about for a minute, called metabolism. And when your metabolism gets off, that's when your body begins to be susceptible to disease. Okay? That's when you're unbalanced. So what are the things that the heart does? The heart pumps blood to every single organ in your body. In that blood is oxygen and nutrients. So the heart pumps these oxygen and nutrients in the blood to every single organ, tissue, every cell in your body. So what's in blood is oxygen and nutrients. It goes to the heart and it pumps out of the heart into all the other locations. Which means that this is an organ in itself that is needing of oxygen and nutrients. When you don't eat the foods that carry enough oxygen and nutrients in it, then it will deplete organs like your heart and its tissues and the cells that make up the heart. Because everything, including your heart, needs oxygen and nutrients. What are these nutrients? They're called micronutrients and macronutrients. Macronutrients are the nutrients that you need in large quantities, like your carbohydrates, your fats, your proteins, your fibers, all right? Micronutrients are going to be the vitamins and minerals. You know, the vitamin A's and the vitamin E's and the vitamin K's and the vitamin D's. All right. We're talking about the B1 vitamins and the B2. All right. The thiamine, the cobalamin. These are your vitamins and your minerals. And then you need to have, those also need to contain antioxidants. Okay. And all of these other things that the body also needs. And when you don't have these in your food, because of the mass production of our foods from the food industry, from the false labels of our products and our processed foods, and their marketing to your lifestyle, wanting you to be a faster, more productive citizen, and they introduce you to faster, more productive foods that give you high energy or spike in your high blood sugar, but they don't give you any nutrients or oxygen that is properly needed. And when you keep spiking your blood sugar with these fake energy foods, and that's all you're doing without giving it the proper nutrients that it needs to be in homeostasis, to allow your digestive system to be in peristalsis at all times, then it's basically jump starting these systems, but without giving it the proper oxygen and nutrients it needs. Then the heart begins to deplete. The energy that is needed here is no longer fulfillment. You're giving something that is needed to have, that supreme gas. You're giving it regular. It don't last long. It burns too fast. And now this is not getting enough oxygen and nutrients that is needed. So now you start getting stuff like high blood pressure, because remember, this pumps blood to the organs, the tissues, and the cells. So now your vessels, your blood vessels, are not getting the proper oxygen and nutrients it needs. You begin to get high blood pressure. All right, you begin to start getting heart palpitations, or you begin to get a heart attack. Why? Because something has clogged up. High cholesterol, all right, angina, atherosclerosis, again, depletion of the organs and the cells. Diabetes, again, a body part, which is the pancreas, part of this endocrine system here, that organ has depleted because of the constant spike of the high blood sugar. Insulin, it just gave up. It just gave up. It said, look, boss, we can't do no more, man. You just got too much going on. We can't do no more. We can't bring it down no more. We can't do no more work for you. And so now you're being depleted. Okay? When we're talking about the respiratory system, if this is not getting enough oxygen and nutrients to your respiratory system, then you're going to start having lung issues. Again, our children are coming out predominantly more with asthma cases than any other people in the United States of America. Why? Because there's not enough oxygen and nutrients that we're feeding in the 9 months gestation period, that we're feeding ourselves in order for these body parts and our children to be healthy. You see what I'm saying? And so when you start eating mucus forming foods while the child is in your system, then that mucus can start getting into these parts of the system that you don't want it to go into. When you're talking about the brain, you're talking about autism. Okay? Too much mucus in this area due to our bad and poor diets and our bad and poor metabolisms because of the marketing of bad and poor food. We're being targeted. And they're targeting us in these particular areas of our brain and how we think, how we remember, and how we learn, in our hearts, okay? Or how we're able to distribute blood and food to the other organs in our bodies. In our lungs, how we're able to bring in oxygen. I just told you that the bloodstream needs oxygen and nutrients. This is one important way to get oxygen into that bloodstream, along with water and along with fruits and vegetables that contain water, so that that can break down into your system as oxygen in your blood. If this is thrown off, if this thing is thrown off by food, by metabolic syndrome, then of course it already has affected your endocrine system. We've already talked about that, right? And so if you got oxytocin in the brain, cortisol, insulin. From insulin, you got estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, right? That family of hormones, if any one of those are off, then it's all off. Particularly, you're wanting oxytocin because that's our feel good, our safe haven, everything is okay hormone. But when your cortisol levels stay up due to everyday stress, even if you are eating right, vegans and vegetarians, even if you're eating a perfect meal, if the body stays under constant stress and keeps the cortisol levels up, that will keep your metabolism unbalanced. Remember that the metabolism is influenced by these hormones. So what we're eating is not allowing us to feel good here and feel safe here. It keeps us under constant stress in our cortisol levels, which keeps us off balance. Now, couple that with the stresses of life, then add on a bad diet or poor diet, where you getting heart attack and clogged up arteries and high cholesterol, which is leading to what? All of these things here lead to stroke of the brain. Also, this whole thing now is beginning in the black community to be prominent in cancers, where we're starting to lead in prostate cancer, in breast cancer in our black women, and colon cancer, as we see the young brother Chadwick Boseman just died from. And we're also starting to get lung cancer at a higher rate, die at a higher rate. So what is cancer? Cancer is when you have the uncontrollable division of abnormal cells within the body. They're just dividing and growing and growing and growing, and they're abnormal. They don't supposed to be there. They're not supposed to be in the area that they're in, and they're not supposed to be growing in that area. A lot of these foods that we are eating, processed foods, these milks that keeps things growing. When we're talking about our hormones, we're talking about the cow and the chicken, okay, and the fish. A lot of those are female species, which they put a lot of hormone growth things in those particular species to allow them to make more and more and more so that we can have something to eat. And in those things are estrogens that promote growth. And when you're eating these particular items, you're also telling your body that you want to continue to grow. And adults do not supposed to be in constant growth like that. And so what happens is those substances begin to start, your body start telling it to grow. It's one of the major reasons why you have a lot of women dealing with menopausal situations, because their estrogen levels are still very high. PCOS, endometriosis, and fibroids are very difficult to deal with when the woman's estrogen levels are high. Growth, tissue growth, cellular growth, organ growth, which is tumors. It really don't matter. We need to watch out about what we're eating and why we need to watch out for it. So that's why we're telling you to stay away from milk, but also stay away from meats, so that you don't get that over estrogen production going on within your body that is causing your reproductive system to shut down and do bad things. All right, even when we're talking about prostate, estrogen is bad for prostate. Estrogen is bad for breast cancer. All right, estrogen is bad for pretty much any type of cancerous anything. And when you're dealing with cancer, you want to be looking at what foods to eat, and we'll go over that, but we're going to be talking about allium, all right, and the cruciferous vegetables. All right, those are the families of foods that you want to eat. But again, all of this is due to the metabolic syndrome. All of this could be due to poor diet, is what I want you guys to understand. All of this could be due to a poor diet. And so the FDA and all of these people that we are trusting with our foods, when we go into the markets and we think that everything on the shelves is okay, and when we're thinking that the commercials are just fine, and it's okay to go enjoy that burger right now and that piece of chicken later, and it's just okay, but you're not understanding that your body is not designed for that type of stress on the body. It is not designed for it. And especially in the black community, it is not designed to carry stress on the body like that, internally nor externally. Okay? And that's why we're dying at such a higher rate in heart disease and cancer and stroke, because we're not eating the proper diet, and we're not in the proper climate, and we're not under the proper circumstances to be conducive to a lifelong healthy life. And so what we have to do is we got to change our circumstances, we got to change our diet, and we got to change our lifestyle so that we can live just as long and just as strong as we're meant to live on the planet Earth. Now, what are some of the herbs that you could utilize for heart disease? Some of the best herbs that I can tell you to utilize are going to be garlic, hawthorn, and ARJUNA. All right. Now, if you guys don't know what ARJUNA bark looks like, I got a little something here for you guys. This is just a powder right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you see that red texture color. All right. Anything that's red is always going to be good for the heart. Okay. ARJUNA. It's going to be very good for the heart. Again, you can just do garlic and hawthorn berry. All right, make you a little mix, and you can do that. Those are your hawthorn berries right there. Okay, we got a lot of this on the website, loveherbman.com. all right, when you're talking about what nutrients that you want to put into your body, all right, you can do things like Irish moss, spirulina. Okay, and here is our spirulina here. You see that? Very rich and dark green. It almost look black in there, but that's very rich dark green. All right, has a lot of nutrients in there, especially when you're talking about all the seaweeds and everything like that going to be very good and very nutritious. All right. So when we're talking about cancers, we're talking about garlic, burdock, rhubarb, and leeks. All right. And you can just basically put that all up in a pot. You know, put a whole clove of garlic in there. Put your a few things of rhubarb, burdock root in there, rhubarb root, and put your a couple things of leeks, and let it boil for about 30-45 minutes till it simmer down, and get you some good old juice, a good old soup, and do your thing. You can also inhale that as well as drink it and take it internally. And so these are the things that just help prevent cancers. All right. Now, when you have certain cancers and certain different types of cancers, you're going to need to take different things. Okay. So that's when you're going to really have to talk to your physician, your doctor, or you're going to have to get some consultations so that you can really home in on what specifics that you need for that. But just for preventative base, keep some garlic, some burdock root, some rhubarb root, and leeks. Keep that combination together. When we're talking about stroke, again, stroke is going to be when there's no oxygen coming to the brain, which is really due to the heart situation, right? Not being able to pump out the oxygen and the nutrients that you need for the brain. All right. That is what, so all of these are connected, and that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. So what herbs are we taking for stroke? Just in a preventative way, we'll say burdock, spirulina, and turmeric. All right. And all those going to be good for what? Circulation, good for the nutrients, good for the oxygen, and all of those types of things. So when we're talking about depletion of our nervous system, our circulatory system, our respiratory system, our endocrine glands, and our digestive system, then obviously what we're getting to, people, is that we need oxygen and nutrients in our blood. Okay. We need oxygen and nutrients in our blood. If we're not getting in our foods because we're being lied to from big corps, then we're going to have an issue with our health, period. Okay, period. If you're not getting, drinking oxygen-rich water, oxygen-rich fruits and vegetables, then you're not going to get the oxygen that's necessary. Okay, it takes a lot more than just exercise to be healthy. And it takes a lot more than just eating right to be healthy. You really have to have a combination, a collaboration of the environment along with the things that you do as an individual to help you along with health. Remember, you can eat all the right things, but if your body is under constant external stress, which keeping your cortisol levels up to deal with the everyday hustle and bustle of life, the everyday stressors of life, the struggle of life, then it still will keep your body off tilt just enough to have it open to disease and cold. Okay, so we want to be understanding of what's going on, and we need to fight back to the big corporations and to the big food industries, that we want to be more transparent on what you're feeding us and how that plays a role on how we think and feel about ourselves and about our situations. All right. We need to understand the effects that food is having on us as a black community and be more responsible with our health, and not just give that responsibility over to outsiders, which have had it thus far and has done us no good. But it's time to take back that control in our own hands and begin to start learning how to heal ourselves. I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And until next time, love HerbMan.